Good morning, everybody. My name's Lizzie. I go on Instagram and YouTube as this Mrs. Fisher _stitches. This is my Flosstube video. That means I predominantly talk about cross stitch. Welcome back if you're a regular watcher. Thank you very much for joining me so early in the morning. And hello if you are new to this channel. I hope you find something you like here. And if you do, hit the subscribe button. Because that makes a difference to me. It is 6:53. This is take 2. I think I just needed take 1 to get all the nervousness and I don't know what out of the way because it wasn't very good. But I'm back now. I have my trusty cup of tea. I'm going a bit 70s vibe today, which no doubt will, because it's quite vibrant. I'll probably cover it up for the office because people will be like, oh, my eyes, my eyes. Hey ho, how are we? I hope you all had a lovely weekend. I have done not as much stitching as I want to. I've had a really poorly back and that's affected my stitching, as you'll see in a minute. And we had a surprise visit home from my older daughter, home from uni, so I didn't get any stitching done Saturday evening, which I planned to do a lot of stitching because I just sat and watched TV with her, which was just lovely. It was a very fleeting visit. It was just the one sort of like early evening till lunchtime the next day, most of which she was asleep for, but it was lovely to have her home and I'm very glad we did. Now then, stitching. So I haven't touched much. Old Oak King is over there. I call him Old Oak King, but he is Oak King, because I haven't touched him at all this week. I meant to on Tuesday, was it? No, it must have been Wednesday. But I didn't because I decided my dog needed a new jumper or a jumper that fitted him because he was being incredibly clingy. I think I mentioned last week. I made him a jumper, but that involved charity shop hunting for the right fleece to cut up and make into something else, the dog's coat, and then making it. And I never use a pattern, I just go from scratch, so it's always takes longer than it should because I have to work out what I'm doing. But he loved it. It's a bit too big though. Once he realised that it was safe to move around in and stuff, jumping up on the sofa and stuff, which he shouldn't do because he's a dachshund, but he does anyway, meant it kept falling off. So I'm actually probably going to buy one for him. I have started knitting one, but at the rate I knit, it will take till Christmas next year. So it's Christmas 2024 before it's finished. Should we look at some stitching? I haven't done much. Or I haven't done as much as I wanted to do because Thursday night I spent an afternoon in A&E, well, 4 hours, in accident and emergency with my daughter, who thought that, well, didn't think, bless her, who put a sewing machine needle through her finger. And in her panic, she snapped it off whilst it was still in her finger. So there was still a bit of the needle left in her finger. So sorry if this is a bit gory. I mean, it's 6:57 now, so I hope, well, you won't be eating this for your breakfast because I won't upload it till this afternoon. Anyhow, x-ray, removal, all fine, just took a long time. And while we were there in the A&E waiting room, oh, that reminds me, I need to go and fetch something in a second. I did a lot of work on Moo. So I've finished his nose and his tongue. I was just thinking, oh, I forgot my clipboard again. This bit looks a bit odd. But it doesn't when I look at it. So he is a Bothy threads kit. He will look like this. So I think I'm about two-thirds or yeah, completed. It is my January goal on WhipGo. So WhipGo is a sort of board game bingo style thing created by Jessie Marie Does Stuff on Instagram and YouTube, where you put 25 whips in a grid. She'll call 2 numbers each month and you work on them. It's a way of working on your whips and ideally getting rid of them, hence the word WhipGo. So my goal was to finish this in January. I don't think it's going to happen because I haven't touched him since Thursday. He was useful to have in the hospital, but I got bored of him, so I stopped working on him. Let's just pop him away. I don't know if I'll go back to it today and tomorrow. Do you think I could finish it? What, 2 afternoon or an afternoon? Got all of the, maybe I should give it a big push. Today I finished work at 1, home. Apart from walking the dogs, I don't have anything to do apart from washing up after tea. And then tomorrow I'm starting late for work because I've got a reflexology appointment, so I should be home about 4ish after that. Maybe, if my back plays well and nicely. Okay, so that was that piece. I did, after my video last week, say I'm not doing any more on Moo, I'm going to work on this. Now I can't remember where it was and I know I didn't take a photo. So this is Snowdrop Cottage, I believe, by... I got it wrong in my Instagram post last week. By Snowdrop Cottage by... I know the answer. Faye Walsh, Little Dove Designs. It is in the February issue of Cross Stitcher magazine. It matches one she did as a stitch along, Holly Cottage, which is still down there. The box is still there, which I stitched as a stitch along with her in just before Christmas. And here is where I'm at with this. So I think I've put the tree in and the grass along the bottom and the doorstep. Now I am gonna, I think, change this pattern on this side. It's got a little chicken, which is quite cute, but we don't have chickens. I used to have chickens in a previous relationship and it drove me insane. I'm taking that chicken out. There are no other chickens in the pattern. I'm fine to take that chicken out and replace it with something else. But that's where I am with that. I love stitching on it. I need good light, which is fine because I have good light. And I think it's going to look fab once it's done and on the wall. Maybe not, maybe I'll complete it in the spring, but I don't think I'll complete it to have it up until next spring, if that makes sense. Although I am a very quick framer. I literally put the fabric in, put the board on the back, sellotape the edges around the back if I can be bothered, if I need to, otherwise it just goes on the wall like that. So there we are. Now then, I have another whip to show you, and I have a new start to show you, both of which got banished to the naughty corner yesterday because I don't know if it was because my back was hurting and I wasn't able to pay attention properly, or because my back was hurting and the medication was making me not be able to pay attention properly, or just the very fact I can't count. But it turns out that I can't count. Now, this one looks really good. And it goes so nicely with my top I'm wearing. Please be my shop for YouTube thumbnail. It just says I'm just average at the moment, doesn't it, if you look at it. Now then, this bit here is, I've counted it right from the middle of this this top point. I've counted right from up here, but it should be over here. because I was wondering why I couldn't fit this in, and then why this looks so far off, because the end of this should be about here, because I counted from here, which it should be over here. Oh, I did 700 stitches on this yesterday, and I think I need to remove all of this or tweak the pattern, but I don't want to tweak the pattern because I love it. Here it is. It's Awesome by Stitch Rovia, and I bought it from her Etsy shop. I was about to say Etsy channel, but that's not right. I started this the day I got my exam results, and thank you for all your kind messages about that. I'm quite proud of myself still, and I would love to have this on my wall by my desk. But yesterday evening, when I realised what I'd done wrong, I was just like, oh, I don't believe it. What I might do is take out these arrows and just have the green bit on its own where it is, but put here to be, or recenter this bit, not count off here. Centre this bit to where it should be. I've got a bit of space over here, so maybe I could put a flourish or something there. We'll see. I need to be in a clear head to work out what I'm going to do with it. Last night, having taken some strong stuff for my back, I was not able to work out what I needed to do other than put it down and go and strop. My poor husband, I don't think he likes it when my back hurts, and I don't blame him. So that's those two. Now then, that's all my whips. So whips are works in progress. As you can see, I've started them and I've worked on them since. But they're not finished. I don't have any finishes. I don't think I'll ever have any finishes. This is the way I'm going. I do have a new start. As I mentioned last week and the week before probably, I am taking part in the caterpillar cross stitch along. So a stitch along is where you get a bit of a pattern released in chunks. So it might be every 2 weeks, it might be every month. I'm also going to be doing another one, which I might tell you about in a minute because I've kitted it up. So caterpillar cross stitch along. It's called British Isles Adventure. It's on this nice, I'm not sure if you're going to get the right colour because it's quite dark. Nice blue, I think this is 16 count Ada. You get the choice 16 count, 14 count, and then the 28 counts even with. I thought I'd gone for 14, but I obviously was feeling 16 county when I ordered. There we are. And here's my start, and it was going great guns. So started in the middle of the fabric, but not the middle of the country. Oh, see, not the middle of the country, it's British Isles. So in the middle of the British Isles is Carlisle area, I think. So this is Angel of the North, a kilt, and Edinburgh Castle. The Angel of the North is one stitch too far that way, and Edinburgh Castle, as it stands at the moment, is not complete. Can you see its roof's too far this way? So I didn't notice the Angel of the North was one stitch out until I'd finished it, and I thought that's too much stitching to undo. It's not as much as that green triangle thing. And then I could not, for the life of me, while I was doing it, work out what was wrong with Edinburgh Castle. But I think I need to just unpick the roof. The grey stitching is fine. So I just need to unpick the roof and stitch the roof again. I might do that this afternoon. And then below it we're going to have Blackpool Tower, very high up in England at the moment. The Isle of Man, I think. Some fish and chips. And a lobster in the sea. And it's going to have this really, you can sort of, I can see where it's going to go. It's going to go down here, out here, and then down, and back up. It's going to be lush. Oh, sorry, down, back up, bit of Wales. Big bit of Wales, all of Wales. I'm really interested to see what she puts in. Oh, we've got York Tower, or is it Durham? I can't remember. I'm really interested to see what motifs come up. I've seen the Angel of the North. I did the Great North Run in 2015, actually in Newcastle, South Shields. I did the Great North Run in 2020 from Toaster to where I live because of the old pandemic. I've seen this. I've been here. I actually, when I was little, I had my own Scottish kilt made in Scotland. My mum's half Scottish. So far it's very apt. Blackpool Tower. Been on a very interesting hen night in Blackpool. So I've been to Blackpool. It'd be interesting, won't it? I don't think I've been to York or Durham, whichever has the tower that I'm referring to. I need to look up which it is. I've not been there that I remember. So maybe as a child, like a teeny tot, but not as I remember. So maybe I should do some day trips to make all of that work. Now then, I'm just going to pause you a minute. Pause. I'm back. You didn't go anywhere. So I've kitted up my February stitching. I'm going to do birds. I'm going to start 2 projects in February. 3. I'm going to start, sorry, I'm going to just lift the blind up so I can get the threads to show you. Hold on. So in February I am going to stitch 2 birds along with my Whip Go Goals. So I'm going to stitch these 2 birds. They're both by Jasmine Made with Love. Details of them are in my last video. If I put them in front of my face it might focus better. Oh, it's the glare, isn't it? There we go. So the top one is Love Makes Everything Easy, and this one is called The Uniqueness of Others. The details are in the description of my last video. So I've made these little laminated cards because even though using Pattern Keeper it shows you what the thread numbers are relative to the symbol, I still end up looking elsewhere for the thread number. So I've made little laminated cards, and here's the colour of Ada that I'm going to use. This was a massive bolt of, well, not bolts because I've probably only got another piece out of it, just creamy, mushroomy 18 count Ada Zweigart. It's got orange lines on one of the bits. So that was given to my mum very kindly by a friend of hers that doesn't have the eyes for stitching anymore, which is sad. Even though magnifiers exist, you know, sad, isn't it? Aging process is never kind. So these are the colours for The Uniqueness of Others. No. These are the colours for Love Makes Everything Better. Probably not doing the best job of showing that, am I? There's reds, and they're very nice, lush, quite autumnal colours if you ask me, but very nice. And then The Uniqueness of Others, I have made one substitution, which I'm really looking forward to using. So around the edge and the writing is charted for a brown colour, and I'm doing it in 333 because I can make those decisions because it's my cross stitch. And then, so I'll be starting those in February, for February. Make a start on my bird wall. I do have a bird actually. I've stitched a dove from Caterpillar Cross Stitch, so that can come out and go on the bird wall. That's exciting. I have one bird already on my bird, or for my bird wall. And the next cross stitch is that I'm going to start is another stitch along, a Barbara Anna one from, and I found it on Poppy Crafts, is it? I can't remember the website. I don't have a picture because it's a mystery stitch along, but this is the inspiration for it. It's David Bowie, Starman, Starwoman themed, and these are the colours and the Ada. I'm doing it on, it calls for a grey, something grey, pearl grey Zweigart. This is silver grey Zweigart because I had it in stock, in stash, and then I don't have to go and buy anything, which is good. Again, it's 18 count. Now 18 count is not my jam. It was, it's not. 14 count is my jam if I'm doing Ada now. Because my eyes don't need any extra magnification and I can do it when the light's a bit dodgy as well. However, 18 count is what I have in stash, so it makes it a little bit cheaper, which always pleases the person that needs pleasing in the house when it comes to money, i.e. he who makes the majority of it. Which is fair enough, I think. So I'm keeping all my thread rings in this little Christmas bag that I got and realised the present I bought for somebody was huge and didn't actually fit in here. So I have a nice little bag with my things in. And then these, my February starts are going to live in my Tiger Lily made project keeper. One last thing to talk to you about. Do you have a cross stitch go bag? Now, on Thursday when we went to the hospital, I was very lucky that it was nothing serious. I mean, I could have pulled it out myself for her, but because the needle had broken in her finger, I needed it to be x-rayed. She needed it to be x-rayed. She wanted to pull it out, but I wouldn't let her. I was lucky I had Moo Cow with me because I was picking her up from school after work, so I was just going to sit in a coffee shop and stitch for an hour before she came out of school. Had it been today or tomorrow, I wouldn't have had anything with me to work on. I'd have had to sit for 4 hours with nothing to do. And that thought terrifies me. I don't do nothing easily, especially when I'm anxious, and I was, even though I knew it was fine. Your baby's an A&E. She might be 15, but it's still an ordeal. So I have created a go bag. So this is going to live in my car. And inside it is my husband does stuff, DIY stuff. This is a Dremel case that he gave me a while ago, and I've been using it to hoard loads of pens in that I haven't touched in 2 years. So I thought, right, they can go. Inside it, I've got a little kit that I found, a selection of some offcuts of Ada, like bookmark size, some funky Adas that I haven't yet found a project for, but if I do, I can take them out of here. And then these threads, which I found in a charity shop and rescued. They're quite fun colours. And then just a bag of old threads that aren't in my project, like my thread boxes. A pair of scissors, some needles, a needle threader. So that hopefully I will never ever touch this. But should I need to, and a pair of reading glasses just in case, because I don't wear these to drive. Sometimes I don't take them out with me depending on what I'm doing. So sorry about the zip, I forgot people don't like zips if they're listening on headphones, is my go bag for the car, so that I'm always okay if I need to sit and wait or sit and do anything, like if my car broke down, or if I was picking somebody up from the station, like I pick my dad up from the station sometimes, and if his train was delayed. To be fair, the station's only 7 minutes away from home, I could come home. 7 minutes, 7 miles. Either way, I'd still come home. But you know what I mean. If I had to wait for a school pickup that, oh, actually, Mummy, I've got a club tonight. Do you mind waiting? Well, it's not worth coming home and then going back, that type of thing. Is that everything? I think that's everything. It's been short. It's been sweet. I'm going to go and drink more caffeine, and then I'm going to head to work and come home and give Moo a really good last push. I think that's going to be the plan of attack. See if I can do 2 days of Moo, maybe just the cross stitch. Doubt I'll get the back stitch done because, let's be honest, who likes back stitch? But if I can just get the cross stitch done, that is a finish in itself, I think. Does that count as a finish? Please let that count as a finish. And then, I suppose I'll start on February Whip Go goals, which is quite exciting. Do you know what they are going to be? No, I will tell you next week. I won't ruin the surprise. Have a lovely week, everybody. Be good, be safe, be nice, but then we are all nice because we're cross stitches and we are great. I will see you next week. Bye bye.